something bad enough, don't make excuses. You gotta lose your time and your sleep for it. You find a way.
Boxing King Media in association with Boxraw. Delighted to be joined by Johnny Nelson out here in Sheffield. Johnny, how you been? How's your new year been? I know you've been away. It seems like you've been away for a while.
No, I've been away for a while. I think we've just been resting up, and I've just been keeping my powder dry. You're persistent and you're very perceptive. You said, you know what, you haven't done any interviews at all. I said, you'll be the first one. So I know we've got a show in Liverpool on the 20th next week. So I think that's when it also rock and roll. But we were always going to hook up first. So that's not a problem.
To be fair, it's by chance we met today because, like you said, you've been keeping very low key. But I've got to ask you, I've seen that, you did this, I'm intrigued by it actually. You did this water fast, which I know Eddie Hearn's been talking about. He did it as well. So you look absolutely great. You look like you've lost weight. Your skin's glowing. So tell us a little bit about that.
I think fasting is such an underrated, it's so underrated, and people don't realise the benefits of it. And I saw you post, and it's biblical. It's biblical, and it's not just about the physical. To me, it was as much about the physical as it was the mental side of it, about mental discipline, mental clarity, mental strength, and self-belief, validation, and the physical side of it was just a byproduct, and that actually worked for me. I'm trying to get people to understanding, and I say to people, don't listen to my propaganda. Check it out for yourself. The benefits are mad. And I'll keep going it over and over again. I'm quite sure scientists and the smart asses can say, but Johnny this, but Johnny that. I know for a fact how it worked for me. I know for a fact what I believe in regards to how important fasting is. And this is why if my little platform can encourage others to think outside the box, to think of the benefits there is in investing in yourself. Once they understand that, then they'll think, you know what, why not? The only person that benefited from me doing an 86-hour fast was me. And I've been preparing for this. The first time I did Ramadan was last year, and it was to change my relationship with food and to give myself mental clarity as well. I fast every Sunday night to Tuesday morning, 36 hours. I do this because, again, this is for more of a mental thing than a physical thing. The physical benefits are a plus, and I say, people, check it out. It's something that I don't know who they are. They don't actually make you understand the benefits of it. And as you say, it's biblical as well. Depends on if you're on that bandwagon. What I'm saying is the only person that benefits from something like that is you.
Definitely so. When you say biblical, I think the main Abrahamic faiths like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all three. I think without getting deep into religion, but all the prophets talked about fasting.
Yeah, and so if this is lost in time. There's so many things that we neglect that are natural resources that are at the tip of our fingertips, but we're distracted by everything in the bright lights and do this and do that, eat this, wear that, look at this, look at that. Use common sense. At the end of the day, all these things only affect you as an individual. Even me being on here, trying to promote fasting and telling people to do your own research, don't listen to my propaganda. The only person that benefits is not me. It's a person that's listening, if they want to. So it depends what they want. If they want to get in a better space, they want to change where they are in life. If you don't do nothing about it, nothing's going to change. And this is the message I'm trying to get across.
Definitely so. We're at an event for Khamzat Chimaev, the UFC fighter. We're going to be meeting him shortly. Are you a fan of UFC at all?
Yeah. You know what? I look at it and I'm in admiration because I think boxing's tough, but these boys are brutal, man. Brutal, and I met him a couple of times actually. I think last time I met him I was in Mayfair. I was getting something to eat down in Mayfair a couple of years ago. But he's to me. Of course, I'm a fan. I'm a fanboy like everybody else, and I think give respect where respect is due. And I love the mentality of those that invest in their craft on a massive lane and on a massive level and live it, to the best of their ability.
Definitely so, Johnny. Let's move into the boxing. Obviously, the hottest topic that's been in boxing over the last few weeks was Anthony Joshua's comeback under a new coach, taking on Otto Wallin. I know we spoke in the build-up. I think one of the things he was quite critical about was him changing coaches and, questioning whether that was the right move. And You know, I think he might even said he could be cutting corners. I think that's one of the quotes he said, but he didn't go into detail what you meant. So just want to start off by talking about before for the actual fight, just what you saw of him as a fighter under Ben Davison.
Okay, so first of all, there's one thing I make clear. Before the fight, I said this should be a walk in the park. This should be easy for AJ. Well, reason being is because he's boxed him twice. He's used him as his sparring partner. He knows what's in front of him, and we saw that in the fight itself, how he carried himself. All of a sudden, everybody's thinking, "Oh my God, AJ, the penny's dropped." No, the penny's not dropped. He knew what he had in front of him, so that was expected. Anything less, then there was an issue. Thinking, "Wow, what's going on here?" You know, and I know, you know, I've boxed sparring partners. But the previous sparring partners before, and so once you know the measure of man in front of you, you know you can do certain things, you can't do certain things. Would I give credit to Ben? No, I won't give credit to Ben for that, because this is AJ. AJ's done this. So again, you know, as he cutting corners, I still believe in that. And you know what? The gamble worked, because if Otto could bring something different than what he's brought to in the two previous fights in sparring, then the input and the knowledge that Ben would have seen the input and the knowledge that Ben would have given AJ. But I do think that, you know, what about AJ's previous experiences with the trainers he's been with? He's picking things up left, right, and centre. As I've said, I'm not into fighters chopping and changing cultures, because for me, you've got to get familiarity, you've got to get belief, you've got to get trust. You know, and again, I do believe he's cutting corners. So let me see this. Say, for instance, AJ is going to fight Usyk again, and he makes that decision to use Ben as his coach. Now, AJ's doing what works for AJ. AJ's comfortable with doing that, you know. But to me, that doesn't make sense. I'm a former world champion. Don't matter what you say to me. Don't matter how much you critique me on what kind of fighter I was. I know my shit. I know what I'm talking about. And so I know when fighters are cutting corners. I know when fighters know what's in front of them. I know more than most trainers. So no trainer is going to tell me, "Johnny, you don't know what you're talking about," until they get in the ring and get their face punched in. So I'm comfortable and confident enough to say what I say. You know, I'll sit down in front of anybody and say, this is what I'm with. So Ben's input with AJ on this fight, the job was done. He just had to be there and get the job done, motivate this man to get him in the right mindset. Let me see what it's like on a different scale, on a different level, with a different opponent. With an opponent that's a threat. So, and I'm not putting down Waller. What I'm saying is I expected that from AJ. He's been twice. AJ used this guy as a sparring partner. Fighters that know that have been in that situation, you know what you're doing. The ones that don't know that situation think, "Oh my God, my man's invented a wheel. He's done something amazing." No, he's not. He's done what's expected of him. He's a two-weight heavyweight world champion. That's got in there with somebody that's familiar with.
Does it still count, Johnny? Because when I spoke to Ben after the fight, I think one of the things that was highlighted was that he sparred or he fought him well over 10 years ago in the amateurs, probably 13 years ago, I think. And then the sparring was like 6-7 years ago. Does that still count? Because 7 years is a long time.
Oh, let me help you. This is a silly comparison. It's about mindset. Once you've got someone's number, you've got somebody's number. Especially if you beat them in the amateurs, you know what they're about. If you spar with them, you know what they're about. You know, so therefore you're going in there with the confidence to think, you know what, I didn't even put in 100%, and I could manhandle this guy in front of me. So when you know, you can't dismiss it. And I understand boxing amateur and professional are two completely different games. But what I'm saying to you is, once you know the measure of the man or woman in front of you, you'll always know the measure of the man or woman in front of you. I boxed guys that beat me in amateurs and knocked them out clean as professionals, you know, because my development was faster than his. I've boxed guys that give me hellfire as a sparring partner, but knocked them out clean in professionals because in a fight. So I understand what difference that will give you when you get in there with a fighter that you know you've got the better of. I understand how much confidence it will give me. When you go in as a confident fighter, then if you're a confident fighter, you think, you know what, I got this. You're going to fight confident. You're going to do things you're going to dare to do things. And so I do believe what I saw of AJ, that you take it with any fighter, that kind of intention, that kind of fire, that kind of desire, you tap them with any fighter, then I can see this man becoming a 3-time world champion. But is that just with Wallin? Let me see it with somebody else. Let me see it with a test that's out there, like Usyk again. Let me see you be as confident. Let me see you. Let me see that. Let me see that with Fury. Let me see that. When I see that, I'm like, you do that. You bring that AJ to the ring, you'll be 3-time world champion again.
There was a lot of people in boxing that were saying it was going to be a hard fight. I know you, the people I spoke to, you, Dominic Ingle, maybe like a small handful of people said, AJ stops him in 6, but the large majority were all saying it's a hard fight, it's a tricky fight. And from that card, they were saying this is the one that where they may see an upset. What about that?
You know what? But again, you've got sheep. You either go with the sheep or you go with the lions. If you know what you're talking about, you know what you're talking about. You don't mind getting the onslaught and putting your neck on the line just in case you get it wrong. There's no way in a million years AJ, it's easy for me to say he would definitely will him, but I'd expect nothing less. And so those that say, this is the banana skin, they've done that probably because of AJ's last few performances, and he's not shown the surety, the confidence to believe that a man like that the achievements that AJ's achieved, they're thinking, you know what, he doesn't seem a confident guy. He doesn't seem the guy that actually believes in his ability and believes in all he's got, because he has the ability. He has the punch power. He has everything going for him. But a few fights before that, you're thinking, why? You know what? You seem not to believe in yourself. That fight, he fought like a fighter that believed in himself.
A lot of people obviously see, because I know you're not afraid to say what you think. Like if I'm Anthony Joshua, if I'm Ben Davison, they may look at this and go, you're still being critical. You need to give us some credit for basically doing what a lot of people said he wouldn't do, because people are saying he's gun shy, and obviously we saw him on the front foot, etc. What would you say to that if they were stood in front of you right now?
Well, number one, just think about what I said. I'm not being critical. I'm being factual. I wasn't critical of AJ whatsoever, apart from the fact of thinking you're cutting corners, man. If you're going to go with somebody that's gonna bring you and elevate you, not him learn off you. Mm-hmm. For Ben, I don't know Ben, so this isn't a personal attack on Ben, even though it sounds like it's a personal attack on Ben. I understand, in 5-10 years' time, Ben might be one of the top trainers out there. But when you make a man from scratch and make him into a champion, people might say it's luck. But then when you do it with 2, 3, 4 fights, people's got to respect how it is. So Ben's learning his craft, learning his trade, learning his knowledge off the back of AJ. So that union, who benefits the most, AJ or Ben? So AJ's at a stage in his career where he wants to be in a position where he benefits the most off anybody he works with. Mm-hmm. So that's not being critical. That's not even slagging down Ben. It's not even slagging down AJ. It's being factual. I'm comfortable in saying that. And I'm comfortable to sit there with Ben and say, Ben, come on, man, let's have this conversation. I'm comfortable to sit there with AJ and say, AJ, you know what? I'm an ex-fighter. I know that mentality. And so I can say this in 5-10 years' time, or 10 years after he's retired, I'll say, well, yeah, actually, I hear that. In 10 years' time when Ben's gone up there, Ben might say, you know what? I got my experience. How do you get experience? How do you get wisdom? You've got to go through experiences, good and bad. He's got to get experiences of everybody he works with to be the best. So he's just on the journey. The journey is as important as the destination.
Just a last quick question on Ben Davison. Obviously, you said that, building champions from scratch. Should we still give credit to trainers who turn fighters' careers around, or just use Lee Wood as one example? I could probably give a few, but Lee's probably the best example I can think of.
Yeah, of course. You give him credit for turning him around to say, come on, I've got to get this in here. But you with Lee and people like that, you're looking, thinking these guys have got the talent. They need a fresh start, a fresh input. They need someone to kickstart that mind to say, I've got the ability to do this. Lee's had the ability. You make me a fighter. Make me a fighter from scratch, from your ability, from your knowledge. That everything you've done, then you can take the credit for the success of the fighter. Until then, I understand. I'll say it. Promoters talk about promoting. You can't argue with them. Trainers talk about training. You can't argue with them. Managers talk about managing. And fighters talk about fighting. So nobody's going to tell me about fighting, because I've been there, I've done that. Regardless of what you think of what I think. I understand what it takes as a fighter to get there and get the job done. I understand and respect the managers, the promoters, the trainers that are out there. But don't take the credit away from the fighter. The fighter might just need a new kickstart to say, right, this is what I can do. But everybody else gets the glory.
And just to wrap up, Ngannou, Joshua, it's been made March 8th, I think, is probably going to be the rumoured date. Just tell me what you think of that matchmaking, and now that you've seen Ngannou fight, how do you see it unfolding?
Well, again, I think AJ gets the job done easy. I think Ngannou, unfortunately, now everybody knows what to expect. The same thing happened with Andy Ruiz. Once everybody saw Andy Ruiz's fast hands and saw what he could do with, at first you saw a little fat Mexican, nobody respected, and then he did what he did to AJ. It's like, damn. So now, how active has Andy Ruiz been since those 2 fights with AJ? You know, because now he's in a position where fighters, he's in the Who Needs Him club because he's a dangerous fighter. And AJ had to fix the understatement, the under expectation of Ruiz, and got in there and got the job done. But otherwise, you won't fight him because he's dangerous. So the same with Ngannou. Now we know Ngannou, he's cool. He can't be pressured. He can't be hustled. You've got to be on your A game. You can't go in there and drop the ball like Tyson Fury did, because you'll get embarrassed. I believe if Tyson Fury boxed Ngannou again, the job will be a lot easier. The win will be a lot easier because he has to respect the man that's in front of him. Now AJ's in there with the same guy. Now he knows Ngannou's strong. He's tough. He can't be hustled. He can't be kidded and conned into making a mistake. AJ has to just be the boxer he is. Be a strong, sharp boxer. Use the power. Use the reach. Use the movement, and be fit. If he's not, he gets turned over. If he makes the same mistake of Tyson Fury, he gets turned over. Everybody knows now who Ngannou is. So therefore, they are going to prepare better for him instead of making a mistake saying this guy's just had one professional fight. AJ's not going to make that mistake.
I appreciate your thoughts, Johnny. Last thing, I understand you're going to do some regular stuff on your own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Just shout that out. You know, where can fans see that? And you're going to be doing something regular on a Sunday.
Yeah. You know what? On Sunday I do most of my me time. So I thought, I'll do a little Sunday session. I'll touch on what's happened the night before. I'll touch on the stuff we do with everybody. Listen, I talk to you guys. I talk to everybody else. I'm thinking, why not just do my own thing? And just drop it like that. And I work with Spence. We do our show as well. And I just think, you know what? Why not? Why not do your own thing? We'll talk about everything from health, from boxing, what's happened the night before, and it's just I can do what I want. I can say what I want. So I just start the Sunday session, drop it out when I start tomorrow morning.
Well, I'll get the fans to keep an eye out for that. And the last thing, I understand you're a fan of the series that we're producing at the moment, Adventures of a Retired Boxer. Yeah. Tyan Booth. We're into episode 5 now.
You know what? I don't know how you've done it, but you've done it. I've seen it, and check it out. You need to check it out because I actually love what you've done, how you've packaged it, and Tyan Booth is a character. You either love them or loathe him, but he's a character. I've seen this guy rock up at press conference and people rush him, one reason or another. And this guy, he wears his heart on his sleeve. What you've done is you've taken him under your wing. You've taken him, you've tried to package that little bit of something he's got about him and let the people actually get it, because Tyan's done this himself. Tyan's comfortable with being disliked. Tyan's comfortable with being very risque in what he's doing. But now you're showing the human side of Tyan. You're showing the lifestyle. So you might laugh at it. You're going to go up at it. You might not be interested, but I think it's been put together very, very well, and I think you've done an amazing job.
Cheers for that. We've got a good production team running all that, and hopefully fans can enjoy it. And if people want to join us as members, you can watch, we're about 3 episodes ahead by tomorrow. Johnny, appreciate your time as always. Any last words before I let you go?
No, I enjoyed the night. Smith's fighting tonight. It's going to be a good fight. I think it's intriguing. I think Smith goes in there and gives it his all. Have we seen the best of him? In all honesty, I think we have. But I think he still does himself proud and puts up quite a performance, but comes second.
Well, this is going to go out after that, so see if you're right. Johnny, appreciate your time. Thank you.
No problem.
You want anything bad enough? Don't make excuses. You gotta lose your time and your sleep for it. You find a way.